Welcome back to Must Play Reviews. The long hoped for PS2 emulation is finally back on PS4 and PS5. It's great to see and play some PS2 games again. So let's take a look and see how this first batch runs, looks, and what could be done for possible future improvements. The previous emulation was basic, primarily just up-rendering the game, but in some it created distracting vertical lines in games like Rogue Galaxy. So far this hasn't been much of an issue, but in Tomb Raider Legend, once I reached a certain level, I noticed it appearing but didn't see it before then. Did not see this artifact in Sly Cooper or the Star Wars Clone Wars game, but let me know if you have seen them in these games, because if we don't point them out, they won't try to fix it. If you have played any of the PS1 emulated games, you have seen some of the video filters. Default, Modern, Classic Arcade, and Modern Arcade. Default brightens the game's visuals, which is great if you prefer a lighter look. We have Modern and Modern Arcade along with Classic Arcade. Despite their modern labels though, these settings adjust black and white levels to mirror classic PS2 visuals, enhancing the contrast and black levels compared to newer games. This is why games like Final Fantasy X and X-2 look washed out when compared to their PS2 versions. It seems that the emulation aims to replicate the original PS2 look, so don't expect a perfectly crisp or clean image. The best way I can describe it is that it looks how it did on a CRT. I do think some improvements could be made. Maybe they could use AMD fidelity effects, upscaling. It could help clear up the image a bit more. And I wonder if they could create some reshade style effects to use as well. Something like HDR tone mapping, bloom, or lens flares. Things like that could enhance the visuals a lot more. The rewind feature is now available, and so is the quick save. The new rewind feature can be disabled, possibly due to performance issues on PS4. If you have played them on a PS4 and noticed performance drops, put it in the comments so everybody else can be informed on it. You also have the option to invert controls on games that didn't have that option before, like Sly Cooper, which still looks great by the way. Look at the difference in color between this version compared to the PS3 version. It's a big difference. Overall, I think these games still look great. Tomb Raider Legend looks the worst, but this game was very advanced technically on PS2. The Clone Wars, in my opinion, look the best. It's very clear besides the HUD. As far as the gameplay goes though, they feel good to play. Pretty smooth frame rates with some occasional drops. I wish I had a PS2 to see how they ran on native hardware to see if there's a big difference between them. All three of these titles now have trophy support, which is a great addition, and I already got the platinum for Star Wars and I'm going for the others. While these ain't perfect, they are a step in the right direction. And with the way Sony has been patching and updating the PS1 emulated titles, I think we can expect the same for these. But what interests me the most is the possibility of some true classics coming back. The PS2 generation was amazing with games like Onimusha 2 and 3, Radiata Stories, Xenosaga, Ghost Hunter, and the God of War games. And the list could just go on. But I would like to know, what games do you want to see come back? So let's hope this is just the beginning and there are more games to come. Thanks for watching, leave a like and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later.